For new video and content added each week, click this icon at the bottom of your screen. Thank you for the support, and thanks for watching. Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. So today I got in the mail the Nintendo Gameboy DMG. So it's a classic brick style Game Boy, and as you can tell, it's been modded. So I'm gonna go away for a couple of weeks, and then I'll be back, and we're gonna go over the quality of the mods. Is it worth the price? And how does this thing stack up to the original Game Boy, and is it worth it? So stay tuned. So hey guys, I'm back now, and just want to talk about the build of the Game Boy. Before I do, just want to say that I was in no way paid or endorsed for doing this review on this Game Boy. Simply a purchase I made on eBay, and I'm just going to review it. So this is side by side, the modded Game Boy versus the original. Now the first thing to point out is obviously the buttons and D-pad are different. The buttons on the new one, they feel like, I don't know if the contact pads are replaced or not, but they feel very responsive, and they feel very sturdy, very good. Like so maybe he did replace those compared to the old one. These buttons still feel good, but you can tell that there's a little they're a little worn in. The D-pad does look slightly smaller on camera, but it's actually not. It's the same size. It does have a clear insert. You can see it has that cool red insert in there. The D-pad feels amazing. So as far as the buttons go and the D-pad, everything is tip-top. Feels just like the original. Feels like brand new. You can see it has a custom blue glass screen. The Game Boy itself is super clean. Now, being that these things are over 20 years old, you expect some scuffs and scratches and stuff, but as far as the Game Boy goes, it's super clean. You can see it has the serial number, and it's got the original sticker still on it. So a few weeks ago, I had was looking for a Game Boy backlight, and there are a lot of videos on how to modify the backlight yourself. And the first thing you'd have to do is either you have a working Game Boy, or you'd have to find a working Game Boy, then modify it yourself, in the hopes that you do it correctly the first time and you don't make any mistakes, or don't mess up that Game Boy. So for those of you who are looking for a modded backlit Game Boy, I found this seller. I was on eBay, and I actually had seen a listing for a backlit modded Game Boy, and when I clicked on it, the seller's name was Rourke650, and I listed his link down below to that eBay site. And he had listed, you know, I can do some modifications on Game Boys and Game Boy Advance. And so I contacted Rourke, and I told him this is what I wanted done, and I was excited about it. He said, yeah, I can definitely take care of that. And you could tell my excitement in the email. So what he did when he was modifying is he actually took some pictures, and he told me, hey, I'm gonna send you some pictures and show you the progress of it. And he also took some video of what he was doing on the inside of the Game Boy, which I thought was great, because I hadn't told him yet that I was gonna do a review. So I thought, oh wow, this is perfect opportunity for me to show the insides of it. So when I got the Game Boy, before I got it, he sent me some video and pictures. So I'm going to show that video real quick to show what the inside of this Game Boy looks like, and then we're going to go into some gameplay and show what a backlit Game Boy like this, what it actually does for the pixels and the for the old school gaming, and also is it worth it? So I'm a huge fan of the original Game Boy. The Game Boy Advance is awesome. The Game Boy Color was awesome as well, and so was the SP. But my all-time favorite is this old school DMG. So as critical as I am of reviews of handhelds and consoles, that is ×2 for this thing. So guys, here is a clip of the video and what the inside of this Game Boy actually looks like.
So you got your Bivert chip right there. These headers are going to attach to the backlight since it's RGB. So you have your ground, your positive wire here, and the 3 grounds for each of these. I use these headers so that they attach to these. It'll make it a lot easier, or makes it a lot easier for maintenance in the future to just plug and unplug. You can separate everything instead of having everything hardwired together. And then you can see in here you've got your dip switch in here. I did use a little hot glue. I'm not a big fan of hot glue, but there's a couple circumstances where you need it, so I did keep it as minimal as possible. This is the header for the button lights. And in here you have the circuitry that has the resistor for each grounding wire for each color. Each color has a different resistance need. And you'll see you have 2 decoupling capacitors in here. These are attached to the power and ground, the regulated power and ground over here, through a wire going underneath this guy. The decoupling capacitors act like very temporary batteries, to be really simple, and they help keep the power supply steady, even though the backlight and the LEDs are going to be drawing more power than the Game Boys typically used to. So these will help keep a steady supply of voltage and current. What you see the difference is normally when you backlight and you add all of these things, there's a humming noise coming off the speaker. That's interference being picked up. Well, this decoupling capacitor, actually the combination of decoupling capacitors, help to filter out that noise and keep a steady electronic signal. Over here you can see the circuitry for LEDs. All of these 4 LEDs are wired in parallel. You can see with a little dab of hot glue underneath each one of them. They're surface mount LEDs with a surface mount resistor in there. And then as you can see, we have the 2 header wires as well as another decoupling capacitor there for you. So let me show you the LED headers. The wires are going to go right through here, and they'll attach up here for the LEDs, here for the RGB backlight. Makes it really easy connection and disconnection. Yeah, man, so that's the breakdown of your Game Boy. I'm gonna stop this video, put it all back together, and I'll send you some pictures along the way. I did want to note for you, if anyone works on it in the future, the original speaker traces here were a little they weren't very stable connections. They were going in and out. So what I actually did was wired it directly to your audio here. So this is going to give you actually a very nice sounding speaker with a consistent connection. A little bit of hot glue there just to keep the wires in place. But overall, it's a very clean job. And I hope you love your Game Boy, man. Talk to you soon.
Alright guys, so there you have it. There is a look at the inside of this modded Game Boy. I really enjoyed watching that video and seeing all the detail and craftsmanship that went into modding this Game Boy and making it a backlight. I especially liked how he added headers, just keeping in mind if future maintenance needs to be done, it's going to make it much easier to take this Game Boy apart with those headers installed. I also liked how in the picture where you can see the soldering that's done, this soldering looks very clean. You can tell that he didn't leave a mess inside the Game Boy. He used flux when he was doing his soldering, so very clean job on that as well. I like to point out that in the places where he did use hot glue, he used a minute amount. Really kept the Game Boy clean inside. So there was just enough glue to hold everything in place, and it wasn't all over. It wasn't all over the inside. Now I had seen some video before of NES consoles that were actually modded, and when they opened them up to work on them, they discovered that the inside was just covered in hot glue. So I'm very clean, very organized, so I really appreciate the attention to detail in something so simple. Now taking a look at this is actually a dip switch, and it is used as a RGB switch, which is a red, green, blue switch. and he actually installed it inside the battery case, so the outside of the Game Boy looks stock, and it keeps a clean look on the outside. And you can remove the battery case, the cover to the battery case, and you can actually flip the switch and change the colors. And there's approximately there's 7 colors. There isn't approximately, there's 7 colors in there. So the first one is blue ice, yellow, purple, green, red, and teal. So very nice, very clean. Alright, so now we're going to move ahead to some gameplay, and let me tell you, the gameplay on this thing just looks amazing. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what the colors look like. Alright guys, here it is. It's got that blue LED light. That is also custom. If you remember, it's usually red. So I'm actually going to just go ahead and put a small piece of tape over that, just so that LED doesn't interfere with the camera lens. Check out the buttons. There is the red D-pad. It's clear with the red insert. The B and A. And now let's get a listen of the sound. Absolutely zero buzzing or interference coming from that. Let's look at the clarity of the picture, the pixels. Buttons are super responsive. There's no lag time whatsoever in the D-pad or the A or B. So that's what it looks like. I'm really impressed with the quality of that went into modding this Game Boy. You'll notice that when I turn this off, it does have a so we get some light over here. It does have the dark blue screen. I'm talking about the screen protector, but the actual screen itself, it has what's called a polarizer. So, how do you know when you have a backlit that's been modded correctly? When you switch this on, notice that the lettering is black over a white screen. If it was white over a black screen, that means the polarizer was installed turned 90 degrees, actually giving you a negative effect, thus washing out some of the colors of the game. This one, as you can see, has the black over white. Has that Bivert chip. which you saw earlier. The sound quality is great. The contrast works perfectly as intended. You see, if the polarizer was actually installed the other way, it would actually look more like that. It'd have more of that negative. The color is actually absent. But just take a look at that. Alright gamers, so I'm gonna play a couple of games just so you can see at least 3 of the screens in action. The next part is recommendations and recap, and then also if you are in the market for buying a backlit Game Boy, what to look for, and what to look for in the seller, and to make sure that you're actually getting what you're asking for. So this is the teal screen. So this is just more gameplay. If you want to fast forward this, you can, and jump ahead to, I'm going to show some pictures of what not to look for and what not to buy, versus this Game Boy, which has the backlit and the Bivert chip correctly installed. Teal screen does look great. This is the purple. Purple and red and blue are the darker ones. They're actually softer on your eyes. So if you want a backlit, just it's not as bright. Red, purple, and blue. Of course, if it has the RGB chip installed as well. So again, I'm going to include the seller's link down below, so if you want to, if you have any questions for him, his name is Rourke. His eBay ID is Rourke650. So here on the left is the backlit screen with the Bivert chip, Polarizer Filter. These may cost you a little more. On the right is the backlit, no Bivert chip, no polarized filter, may cost a little less, and the colors may not be as bright. These are both desirable traits for a backlit Game Boy. It's just your preference on color and the brightness of the screen. So the Game Boy on the right with backlight and no Bivert chip will have a similar appearance to the original Game Boy, that sort of green looking screen. And the Game Boy on the left, when it's off, will have a dark blue looking screen. That is actually the polarized filter. Alright, so the Game Boy on the left is backlit. It does have a Bivert chip, but the polarizer is turned 90 degrees, which is an undesirable mod. It will wash out colors, and it'll also make the screen look negative. So the screen to the right, you'll notice that it has a black bar over a white screen. It is also backlit. It has a Bivert chip. The polarizer is installed correctly, and the contrast and detail and the pixels are there. So this is considered a desirable mod. So guys, after several weeks of playing this thing, would I recommend a backlit Game Boy? And the answer is hells yes, I would. This thing just plays just like the original, but with this amazing backlight that Game Boy probably should have included way back in the day. I don't know why they didn't, but they didn't, and it's still an amazing handheld. But adding that backlight feature just enhances the experience. I don't feel it takes away from the originality of the original Game Boy. So recommendations, absolutely get yourself, if you're looking to go into grabbing yourself a Game Boy and you're thinking about the backlight, I would absolutely go for the backlight. Now that being said, when it's time to purchase one, check your seller's reviews, check your seller's history and review, especially if you're buying it from eBay. You know that they have history and reviews. you want to make sure that the seller has positive reviews on there. Make sure that there are pictures of the Game Boy actually turned on, so that you can know for sure that it actually is a biverted Game Boy and it does have a backlight, and they're not just selling a regular Game Boy, because I've seen sellers who are in fact advertising biverted backlit Game Boys when in fact they are not. They're just regular Game Boys. So let's talk cost. How much does a backlit Game Boy cost? The backlit non-biverted Game Boy is going to run you between $40 to $60, where a Game Boy like this with the backlit, the polarizer, is going to start probably around $80 and up. And if you want extra features, then you can discuss that with your seller ahead of time. There's a look at the RGB dip switch. See if we can get a better look on there. I also wanted to point out that the LED lights, although they do use more battery power, LEDs are designed to not draw a lot of power in the first place. So I didn't really notice a huge difference in how much battery life I was getting out of my batteries. So like I said, even though the backlit and the LEDs are extra, LEDs again do not draw a lot of power. So in the long run, it wasn't eating up a lot of batteries. So the dip switch on here also allowed me to turn off the LEDs on the front, which in turn would conserve battery life. So the backlit with the Bivert chip is definitely the way to go. It does have the Polarizer Filter, and I believe that there are sellers out there that if you want to purchase the kit to do it yourself, just Google it, and you'll find I think Handheld Legends is one that sells an entire kit to go with it. I did try out the earbuds, and the headphone jack worked extremely well, and the sound quality was spot on. I did not try out the DC. I probably won't use that at all, to be honest with you, but that's the only thing I didn't try out. The contrast on the Game Boy works just like the original. It flows very nicely with the backlight, and of course the sound, because of the decoupling, is very clean and very crisp. Alright, so there you have it, guys. That is my review on the backlit Game Boy, the original DMG model, and I really enjoyed using this, and I'm going to enjoy playing all those old school games on here. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit like and subscribe. I appreciate your support, and any comments down below. I will answer any questions you guys might have, any suggestions. Thank you, Rourke. I did include my seller's eBay information down below for building such a great unit. I'm really happy with this thing, and again, thank you guys for watching. See you later, gamers.